Tough, intelligent, shocking.
3 of your men died.
All the ammunition needed for provocative drama.
Why did he do it?
Tamsin Outhwaite is toughing it out in a man's world.
So I can shoot you and arrest you.
Sexy. Where one slip
I've slept with him.
can blow everything apart.
Oh dear.
New episodes of Red Cap begin Sunday on One.
They can sell them here, you just can't smoke them here. It's day one of the smoking ban. And here in a central Auckland pub, they think they've found a way around the ban. Have a look at this. Down the corridor, it was the toilets. Now it's the smoking room. We shot that earlier this afternoon, a dunny converted into a smoking room. Smokers and publicans looking to beat the smoke ban. We found some more at Teddington, at the head of Lyttelton Harbour. They're smoking up large in the bar tonight. No sly smoking in the converted dunny for them. We go live to the Wheatsheaf Tavern. Also tonight, we celebrate Annabelle Whanga. Her life could easily have been a disaster, but instead she became an inspiration.
It was 3 years of constant struggle, but I got my degree and now I'm the Corporate Communications Advisor for Manukau City Council.
And we celebrate another couple of celebrities, Shona and Kelly. Is the curtain about to come down on their long and illustrious show career?
Shona's 37 and that's Kelly, and Kelly's 35.
Thanks for being with us. I'm Mark Sainsbury, off the bench for Susan Wood. Well, the purple haze still hangs in the air at the Wheatsheaf Tavern at Teddington, at the head of Lyttelton Harbour. There they are, smoking up large inside the pub tonight, 19 hours after the smoke ban kicked in. They're acting against the law and the boss could get fined. But Wheatsheaf proprietor John Van Buren doesn't give a toss. He thinks the government's smoke ban is an ass. We go live to the Wheatsheaf Tavern on Banks Peninsula. And also with us tonight, Sir Robert Jones, a reformed smoker, but not without an opinion. So let's go to the Wheatsheaf Tavern now, and John Van Buren is the publican there. John, you're breaking the law, aren't you?
Yeah, we believe so, Mark. Yep.
But is this you making a stand, or is this the punters forcing you to do it?
No, it's a bit of both. Probably me more, Mark. I believe in a bit of democracy in this country. We didn't get it on this issue, and my punters are right behind me.
But people would say, look, it was voted through in Parliament, they make the laws, you've got no choice.
Yeah, exactly right. The worst thing we ever did in Parliament and voting was vote an MMP, which gave too many of these dickheads up there the choices that they're ruling our life.
But you're stuck with it. I mean, there's going to be people tonight who say, look, you're being socially irresponsible. The law's been changed and you just won't live with it.
Yeah, but smoking's not the big issue, Mark. It's the democracy of this country. That's what's at stake here. We've been run by a socialist government and we don't have any say anymore. We want that say.
But the election's not for another 12 months. Do you have a choice?
Sorry, Mark, I missed that.
I said the election's not for another maybe 8 months. In the meantime, do you have a choice?
If we can start a run on people that'll get them behind and support us, we might well make a choice. We might have that choice that we want, yeah.
Now, John, you've got people there in your pub tonight. They're puffing away, aren't they?
They are, certainly, yes.
Is it your job, are you supposed to, under this new act, get up, get over there and tell them to put them out?
They have all been warned that they should be smoking outside in theory, but I leave it up to them. They are human beings. They have the choice. It's a democratic choice that they are in here smoking.
Do you have any other...
not...
Sorry, John.
No, I was just going to say I'm not policing it, Mark. There are smoke police out there. They made the rules. They can look after them.
Now, speaking of the smoke police, I can't quite hear the wail of sirens as yet, but at some stage, they're likely to turn up at the Wheatsheaf Tavern. What are you going to say to them? What are you going to do?
We'll explain our predicament and we'll see what sort of reaction we get from these guys.
I mean, this is a gamble you're taking. I mean, is it worth a hit if you get fined?
We'll see if it goes that far. If it goes that far, yes, I believe if you believe in what you stand up for, you've got to stand up and be counted.
And what will it cost you if you do get charged over this?
I don't know, Mark. It'll probably cost my licence for sure. Eventually, I'll have trouble renewing my licence. It may well cost me my business, but I feel pretty firmly about this and I'm making a stand.
OK, John, you're making a stand. What are your patrons telling you, though?
They want democracy. Everybody I've talked to, and we've had a lot of calls, they all want democracy, non-smokers and smokers alike.
But if you say democracy is the rule of the majority, there's a minority of smokers in this country. If the majority says we don't want smoking in pubs, isn't that democracy at work?
Yep, absolutely no problem. Absolutely no problem. But we haven't had the vote. It didn't go to a referendum. It wasn't put in front of the people. We didn't get that vote. So we don't believe the democracy has taken place. We want that democracy.
John, we'll come back to you in a minute. Sir Bob Jones is safely there in the confines of his own office in Wellington. Good evening, Bob.
Good day, Mark.
Now, do you have sympathy for John?
Oh, absolutely. And it's lovely to hear a New Zealander speaking up for a very simple proposition that his life is his own. I mean, nobody has to go into his bar if they don't like it. And he's absolutely right. He's impeccably right. But, I mean, look, all the history of government legislation, not this government, every place in the world, is when they try and achieve economic and social objectives, the opposite outcome. And this is a classic case. I mean, look at me. Do I look 83? Yes or no, Mark?
Yes, Bob.
No, I don't. And you know I don't. Well, I tell you what, you can thank my history of smoking for the fact I don't reveal my true age. But this is basically a health issue. And, you know, this is not a joke what I'm saying. It's actually a very healthy thing to smoke. About 12 years ago, the Australian Health Department did a 2-year survey, total demographic things, different age groups, ethnicity, occupational, this sort of thing. And the results they didn't like, but they did release them, and they were hushed up by the media. Only the Australian newspaper published them. What they found was the smokers were healthier and tougher, with the exception of emphysema, you know, I'll concede that, on every single count, and nobody liked that outcome. Well, there's a perfectly logical reason, and that is that it's analogous to going to a gym. You know, the old cliche about no pain, no gain. You keep pushing weights and this sort of thing, and your body defends itself by building muscle. You smoke, it's not a natural thing. Your body defends itself, it gets tougher. The trick is to stop about the age of 40. Now, instead of giving this crap about giving babies milk and that, which is fattening, they should be starting on cigars with babies and up to about 10 a day, you know, when they're 10 and so on, and then starting to phase out again, and you stop completely when you're 40, and we'll have a race of Amazons. Bob, it's perfectly logical.
Bob, you know that the phone lines will be ringing hot right now saying, look, this guy is talking rubbish, smoking
But I'm
is
not
bad
talking
for you.
rubbish. I'm absolutely talking the truth. It's exactly, as I said, analogous to going to a gym. You put a bit of pressure on your body reacts, it builds defensive mechanisms. I mean, history proves this, medicine proves it, and so on. This is a matter of fact. I mean, look what happened when the Europeans colonised countries, including New Zealand, etc., and the indigenous races were always incredibly vulnerable to the most trivial things, you know, measles or something, and they got wiped out. You toughen the body out with these things. It's equivalent to going to a gym. The trick is, the same with running. Look what happens. I mean, people who keep jogging and think that somehow they're going to live forever because of it, drop dead at 55.
But you've given up, Bob.
Yes, I have, because I'm 83, as I said to you, and I don't look it because I did smoke all that time, and otherwise I'd be pretty haggard instead of looking the way I do.
We're going to come back to you, but
it's all part, Mark, of, you know, it's like this euphemistically described civil union bill, which I know you're elated about, and I got your wedding invitation today, but nevertheless, you know, it's all part of government intruding into people's lives, you know, minding other people's business. I mean, what they're trying to do with that, for example, is say, look, we are quite normal, we're homosexuals. Well, I mean, they're always announced they're perverts because all heterosexuals know what rubbish marriage is. And so it's a very perverse thing to want to be married.
Well, just sticking with the smoking for a second, John Van Buren down there, I mean, as we've heard, that in some ways I think the two of you share some views in terms of the political correctness aspect of this, but for your patrons, I mean, Sir Bob's given up the smoking. I mean, is likely any of them down there are going to as a result of this?
No. What he's talking about is a much broader issue.
Hang on.
He's just saying it's his business.
We just want to get back to
Sorry
the pub
about
for a
that, yeah.
second. No. John,
Yep, I'm here.
any of your patrons like you to give up?
No, not at all. Not at all. They're probably smoking more, actually, at the moment, because the cameras are around. They're all a bit nervous.
Okay, listen, we're going to come back to you both before we finish tonight. But back to the tavern later. Still to come, Kelly and Shona, a couple of fine showgirls, but their final curtain can't be too far away, and for many, that will be a sad day.
I'd like to think that I've got a good few years left yet.